Hello everybody and welcome to our Cabinet Vision tutorial on how to get started with Cabinet Vision. And what I'm going to do today is show you how to get into a job and how to draw some drawings, how to draw some walls, how to put the cabinets on the walls, how to adjust the cabinets, pretty much your basic 101 topic on Cabinet Vision. So hope you guys enjoy this. Should be pretty simple. All right, so let's get started. So when you open up your job, let's just say we go over here. You're going to go to this little paper icon up next to the top, and that's going to open up the job to the job properties. And it's kind of important to get all the stuff in here that you want to do to make sure that you have it all, set up correctly before you start just throwing cabinets onto the wall. With our catalog loaded into it, pretty much everything's already defaulted in, so you don't have to do too much. So I'm just going to put down a few generic ideas. I'm going to name the job Barker. You don't have to put that in there, but if you don't, it'll automatically save to a different. It'll save to like untitled or job one or something like that. That's pretty much it. You don't need to do anything with schedule or comment. This is really more for people in the trade if they're going to be doing estimates and whatnot. They can refer these dates onto elevations or drawings, perspective views for your customers. So what we have here is basically just all your job information. Don't really worry about too much of that stuff. I never really put too much of that stuff in there. Go down to the next tab down, which is going to be your room tab, room one. Just leave it as room one unless you want to rename it. Let's just say kitchen. Doesn't really matter. Description. Again, you don't have to put this information in. Finishes, do not worry about this. I have this all set up to the point where it doesn't regard this. This is kind of an old way of doing stains over wood and whatnot. And anyway, the new textures we use are going to be much more accurate, and I overrode them so that they don't interact with those stain colors. The only thing on the room tab you're really going to look at here is layout. And this is set up as your default. So 96-inch ceiling height is pretty common. Thickness of the wall, that doesn't really matter unless you're getting into peninsula walls, like half walls, pony walls, for a peninsula in your kitchen. Typically those would be 42 inches tall, but we'll get into that later. Soffit height, basically this is not some sort of obstruction that's at the top of the thing. What they're asking for here, the soffit, is basically when you put a wall cabinet onto a wall, it's going to hold that cabinet down by 12 inches from the very top of the ceiling, okay? So at 96 inches, I'm most likely going to go with, I could go, 12-inch soffit height is kind of real common with cabinets. If you imagine a cabinet from the 80s, like an old house, they're going to have a real wide gap between the top of the cabinet and the ceiling. Most modern day cabinets are going to go right up to the top of that ceiling. Now, when I say right up to the top, I do not mean like, shove that cabinet so the doors are touching the ceiling. I mean, leave 4 inches below that and then run some 4-inch tall crown molding. A lot of people say, why do you want to run a 4-inch tall crown molding above your cabinets to the ceiling? Ceilings, especially in older houses, are going to be, they're out of level. They can have waves in them, bows, they settle after a while. And the idea with the 4-inch tall gap is you use a 4-inch crown between your cabinets and the ceiling. And the nice thing about that is, let's just say the ceiling is out by 1 inch. And when I say that, from the left to the right, over say like an 8-foot range, the ceiling has dropped, say, an inch from one side to another. It's pretty common. But if you only have like a 1-inch tall molding, imagine if it drops 1 inch and your cabinets are perfectly level, which they should be, and it drops 1 inch from one side to another. That's not a good deal, because what's going to happen there is you're going to have a lot of molding, 1 inch of molding on one side, on the left side. And then when you go to the right, it's going to be pretty much, there's going to be nothing. It's going to be like a sliver. So that's going to look really odd. It's going to draw your eye to that imperfection. Now, if you do that with a 4-inch tall crown molding, you go from 3 inches or some 4 inches on one side down to 3 inches on the other. That's not too bad. Okay, you're not going to notice that. You've only eaten up 25% rather than 100% of the molding. Okay, that's going to help you in installation. So that's my spiel on the soffit height. Okay, vertical placement. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. So cabinets. Okay, over here, all these are your defaults. I only have one. So I actually eliminated when I put this software package, the catalog together. I didn't put the software together. Cabinet Vision did. So, and it's great software. You're gonna love it. Cabinets. So I put my construction method, Barker frameless. Nothing else you can choose. Our drawer boxes, Barker drawer boxes. The other ones are just, if the default ones were just generic, so those are what you'd start off with if you were just starting out in a cabinet shop. So use ours. These are what you're gonna. It's gonna be real similar to what we're gonna give you, almost exactly what we're gonna give you. Rollout, same thing. You can't change anything there, so there's no reason to even touch anything. Materials. Typically, most people are ordering their cabinets with a pure white or painted white finish, or a Dover white finish. That's just kind of what we see as far as the most common things going on, at least in this day and age. So you have a few things you can choose from here. Keep it on these top few with the stars in front of them. The exposed cabinets, for example, like a glass door cabinet or open shelf cabinet, you can use these exposed cabinet construction methods, and that'll make it so that it shows like a pure white interior for all the cabinets that you select. But we can get into that later. So let's just keep it on painted white for all of them. Those should be on your defaults right there. It's no problem. And again, Drobox. You can always upgrade if you wanted to the other ones, but we're going to keep it on Baltic plywood because that's our standard. And again, we're not ordering from this, so if there's something that changes here, remember, when you put your order in through the website, we don't use your Cabinet Vision file. This is just for design purposes, but it does give you a nice view because the textures are all there. They are going to look very similar to what's going to come out of the box once you put them together and put them in. So this is very valuable hardware, or very valuable software. Okay, hardware. There is literally only one selection. Again, I made it so there's absolutely no other way for anybody to mess it up. Doors, over here, you go shaker, inset panel. Now right now it's defaulted to alder. Just go up here and click on pure painted white. That way the door's white and the cabinet, the face of the cabinet is white. You know, the edge banding on the face there. Okay. You don't need to do anything down here. If you wanted to, you could always go down, and they put this area together, which is kind of cool actually, because you can go down through here and you can actually change stuff like your end panels and stuff like that. We do not use these base end panels and upper end panel things. We have a separate end panel, which we call an applied finished end panel, and that's a separate product. So when you add an end panel to our cabinets, you're going to do that separately, not through these guys. Don't even look at them. Countertop, again, you can do whatever you want. Typically, let's just go 3cm granite. We see that more often right now. Profiles, again, edge profile. You can play around with these things when you can get super elaborate on your drawings. You can put flowers on your island. You could put cookies with cookie crumbs, and I mean it's ridiculous. So I'm not going to jump into that too much right now because I know that's the fun part, and I'll let you guys play around with that. We'll have another tutorial on doing photo vision. All right, so basically I have a whole bunch of old things that I've used in here before. Like number 3 detail on the edge. So it's kind of got a little drop down edge and whatnot. We'll leave that one on there. That's no problem. Okay. You can adjust to things like a face overhang. Typically 1.5 is what we leave on there. End overhang, inch. Don't really worry about these. It's getting really technical. Those are all defaults. Again, we're not changing anything here. Okay, so you go down to your moldings. It's locked into the beginning as alder. So go down to paint grade if you want it to be white on the moldings and whatnot. You don't have to change it. You can leave it as alder. Again, that's just for perspectives of 3D views. And profile, same way. We have all of our crown moldings in here for you. A whole bunch of different ones to play with. Just some old stuff. Actually, a lot of this stuff is not used anymore. So, anyway, take a look at the website. You'll see what there is, and you just match up the code, and you'll be fine. I'm going to leave it on this one. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So just click OK. It's going to launch the drawing screen. We're going to go over here to walls, and that's your first thing you're going to do. You can't do anything here unless you actually draw a wall. And you're going to notice here is like this is just some grid paper, just like you would do at home if you were going to do your own layout. Take a wall, and let's just draw a single wall. Now, typically, you draw this wall however you want. So let's just say we have a general U-shaped kitchen, and it's just clicking to points, okay? I'm not adjusting any sizes right here. I like to draw the walls first, and then go back through and change it. So let's just say that this wall was 163 1/4. So I just changed the length right there. Okay, 163 1/4. We're good. The height can also be changed here again. Remember, we already put that in on the layout tab up there on when we first started the job. So we said the height of our ceiling is 96. You don't need to change that here. Let's just say that this wall right here is, say, 83 5/8. Good. And let's just say that this wall right here is 60 3/16. Now the nice thing about it, if you look right there, you can actually put these dimensions in fractions or in decimals. And the thing I like about Cabinet Vision was the fact that they were able to do that. It's not so much the fact on other programs I've seen, like if you work on Excel a lot and whatnot, it's hard to use fractions in Excel, but in Cabinet Vision they nailed it. So anyway, pretty good. So 60 3/16. It also you can convert that. You can put down pretty much anything you want. So 60 5/8. That's 60 5/8, or you can say 60 space 5/8. So you get used to using the fractions. Kind of cool. All right. One last thing we can do here that I wanted to show you is, when let go of the wall, is drawing one more wall out here. And I'm just going to draw a real quick wall, and I'm going to show you how to make it a wall end. And you say, why would you want to use a wall end? Let's just say it's 27 inches long. Well, wall end is going to be nice because that means that there's no cabinets really attaching to it. It's just the end of a wall, so basically your cabinet's going to run into it. So we're going to have cabinets going this way. Okay. To do a wall end, just go over here and click this little box. It's going to turn it green or whatever color you have the template set for. And what that's going to mean is it stays out of the way. It doesn't like try to push your cabinets off. So this thing will try to snap your cabinets into place, and sometimes it'll keep them like 12 inches away from the wall and whatnot. So just put it as a wall end. Technically, it's not the end of the world if you left it like that. Okay, so we got our walls. We have a wall end wall here. We have a big one right here. I'm going to change this dimension to, let's just make this thing 210 and put an island in here. Everybody always asks me, they say, how do you get an island to draw? And again, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do, okay, that looks like about big enough for an island. Okay, so also the ways you can move around before I get to the island thing is if you put your mouse button, like right here, anywhere, just on the screen, and then click your space bar with your thumb. Notice how it centers now? This is the way you can move around the screen. So I'm clicking if you can hear it, notice I'm getting farther away. Just keep clicking your space bar, and it'll actually center the screen on where your mouse is. So I'm going to center it over here. Boom. I'm going to center over here right in the middle of the room. Boom. So that's a way to move around. Another way to move around too is using the scroll ball on your mouse. So if you have a mouse and it has a scroll ball right in the middle of the two buttons, now roll it forward, takes you out. Roll it in, takes you in. Out, in, out, in. So I'm using the mouse ball, the trackball, I guess, on the mouse. Okay. Other ways to do it is if you get stuck, let's just say we're way over here in the middle of nowhere. You're like, I have no idea. Go up here and click all. Centers you back in the middle of the room. Puts this right here in the middle. Okay. Let's just say that we moved this whole thing over here. Oh, that didn't work very well. I pushed Control Z to move it back. So if you do something weird, just don't freak out. Control Z. That means undo. You know, just like copy paste. Control C, whatnot. You can actually center your room. Go up here to this Modifications tab and then go to Center Room. Notice how it put this directly in the center of the entire room. That's going to be important later when you get into lighting. Okay, lighting is going to make your 3D perspective drawings, get really cool. Okay, so back to our task of drawing a peninsula wall or an island wall. Okay, I'm just going to draw a wall out in the middle of the room. And a lot of people say, well, now I can see this wall. Let's go up here to the 3D tab. Click this, and then we can rotate. See what I'm doing here? I click this rotate thing. Hold the thing down, holding the mouse button down right now, and I'm dragging it around. Pretty cool. But as you can see right here, there's a wall right in the middle of the room. Click this Photo Vision tab, and I'm just going to show you real quick how to do a real quick perspective view. So go over here, Photo Vision, go to Architectural, and this is my favorite one right here because it gives you all the colors and the shadows and everything like that. Okay, this wall's right here in the middle of the room. Well, that's not going to work for an island, right? I mean, we're not going to have a wall like that. It's pretty closed off for a modern kitchen. So go over here, and you're going to go to right here in the type. Right now it's a standard wall. That's not what we want. Peninsula. Peninsula basically means it's a wall. We can add cabinets to it, but you're not going to see it. Now let's go back to our 3D perspective view. I click that. Photo Vision. Notice that there's no wall there anymore. So, how do you draw an island? Let's get into it then. So we already learned how to draw walls. We learned how to click around and center our room. Oh, way off. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to all. Already did that. Okay. Let's add it. You can have this wall facing either way. Draw the line this way or draw the line this way. It doesn't really matter. Do whatever you want there. So base, one door, one drawer. Well, let me click around there. Okay, so I'm just going to flip this wall around. Boom. Okay, so what I did there to flip that thing around, I went to the angle and I put -180. It's like radians, if you ever worked with radians and stuff before. So you have 360 degrees. I don't know what happens if you put 360. Let's see what happens. Oh, it just does it exactly the same. Okay, so I just basically flipped this thing around. There we go. Now, you can add cabinets as much as you want. So I just put 2 cabinets there, and let's go and take a look at that in the 3D view. So adding those 2 cabinets there, I have 2 cabinets now in the middle of the room. Now you can play around with that. Add more cabinets in as you want to make the island as you want it. Going back to plan view. Another way to do this, to move cabinets around, this is kind of hard from a top view, especially when you're looking at it from the back side of the island, right? Click on one cabinet and then go to elevation view. Now that's a face view. It's going to give you that wall we drew, which is 100 inches long. It's also going to give you the height, which is irrelevant because it's a peninsula wall. It doesn't have any structure there. Okay, so we got two walls like this. If you want to, let's just add a couple of cabinets in the middle right here, just to draw a real quick island. Now, I'm not looking at spacing. There's probably way too close to the other cabinets around the wall here, but I'm just going to give you a quick idea of how to do the island. I know it's probably not the first thing we should be teaching, but yeah, there it is. Okay, so I got 18, 28, I got another 36, so I need to add 4 on there to get these things equalized. Boom, done. Okay. Take this cabinet right here, and this is hinged on the wrong side. So technically when you order, it'll ask you left or right hinge, right? No problem. Double click, see the cabinet. Go right here to the very first view. Right now it's a 3D view. Again, you can take a look at this cabinet and we can see exactly what's going on, what it looks like. This automatically gets adjusted. This panel would be taller. They don't allow us to associate doors, so this would be a different type of door where we'd shrink the rails, so don't just disregard that. Idea is that gives you an idea. See how you can see our textures? You can see our color of painted white. I mean, the knobs and pulls are kind of irrelevant, but you can even see the drawer texture. So it's really cool. I mean, you can actually see the plywood pieces and everything like that. So if we can go over here and spruce this guy up a little bit if you really just wanted to play around with it. I'm adding lights. Notice how I have a top view right here and I'm working in this area. I can add a light and I can move the thing around. I can click right here, just in the middle of the white area, and I can actually increase the white light. That's just all ambient light in the room. I'm gonna go back up to architectural, and again, you don't need to do a lot of this stuff. Just work on the thing of, on using, putting cabinets on the wall and you're done. It's pretty easy. So cool, look, I got this thing. There's a whole bunch of cool, you see shadows and stuff like that. It's, it's professional software. That's what we're doing here. Okay, go back to section view. That's the face. Just do this, and 2 different ways of changing the hinge side. Just pull it over. Pull that hinge over like this. You notice how it's changing? Or if you don't like that, then just go over here and go hinge left. Hinge right. Simple. Okay, so that's how you change the hinge side. You can do other things, which would be like, really messing around with these things. I mean, again, this is the same program we use for actual design and layout. This is a watered down version though. There's a lot of stuff in here that we can do on ours that you cannot do on this. So, but it's, I mean, you got 99% of stuff you need here. You don't need, CNC integration and whatnot. All right, so let's take a look at our island here. So we did it pretty good. I don't know why I just clicked that. Okay, here we go. There you go. The back is irrelevant there. Again, when you do the island, it automatically is going to change the back into a finished back because we have automatic backs on here. That's on a peninsula. That only works on a peninsula wall. So eventually, if you do an island, make sure you use a bar back. It's a separate piece that goes on the back here. And then over on the sides here, you're going to need finished in panels. And we'll get into that in a later episode here. Okay. So ultimately, let's go through and I'll just give you a quick layout here since we've already talked about the walls, how to move around the screen, how to go to our perspective view. We're going to move that thing. I'm holding the mouse button down. I'm pulling and moving it around. Okay. Let's go over here and let's just add a filler, usually down at the end. Base filler. All right, so I just added a filler right here. It's a 2-inch wide filler, real simple. That's what we recommend. Now let's go to elevation view, and then let's add in some cabinets. Yeah, let's not use glass cabinet. Nope. Okay, so let's just add in some 1-door and 2-door base cabinets. There we go. 2-door, 1-door. Again, I'm gonna let you guys deal with it. Objects. I'm gonna go up here. I'm just gonna put in a 2-door, 1 false front sink cabinet. That's pretty cool, right there. When you're doing those, always make them 36 inches wide. That's really just more of a tutorial. I just want to show you guys how to use Cabinet Vision in this one. All right, and then you can also put in things like corner cabinets. So let's go base corner cabinet. So let's go find the base 90. Where is that guy? base 90 adjustable. All right, and something to look at here too, if you can't get the thing to go on the wall like I did right there, is to what you need to do is you need to hold the control button down. This one right here, for some reason, and it does this sometimes, it's going to want to only attach to this wall. Again, you can make this into a wall end. That's an idea too. Oh, I don't know if it'll let me actually. I guess you can't, because it's already got cabinets on it, so it doesn't let you do that. So I'm trying to do this. I'm clicking, and it won't go there, okay? Now, what I want to do is, if you ever get into a situation like this, you can actually draw that or put that cabinet anywhere you want by holding the control button down, okay? So hold the control button down and then mouse click. Boom. Now, when you do the control button, it's basically an override button, okay? That'll allow you to put it anywhere. So notice I can't put it over here. I can't put it out in the middle of nowhere. I want to. It's not letting me. I'm trying to click, click, click. Can't do it. Go over here, hold the control button down. That is not the way you should be building an island, though. Doing, like, again, I've had people do that, and they're like, oh man, I got this thing all done, and then all of a sudden everything went all over the place. It goes crazy. Cabin Vision has a lot of built-in safety protocols, so it doesn't allow you to throw stuff anywhere you want. It tries to keep your design as simple as possible for something that can become extremely complicated if it, got out of control. So don't try to build an island out in the middle of, the ocean over here. So just take this guy and come back over here. Again, it won't let me do it. I'm going to hold the control button down, put it right here. And notice it's clicked back to the wall, and then I'm going to go to my clearances, which is up here at the top corner, and I'm just going to do 7. I like to use the side pane over here for moving the cabinets around because it just works better. All right, so I'm going to go over here and take this cabinet, and again, there's a little gap right there. So on the right side, we know this cabinet's 36 inches deep. So right here, if you looked at this, 35 and 5/8, obviously 36. You know what I mean? When it goes around corners and stuff like that, sometimes it doesn't actually read how much that cabinet's sticking out. So make sure you don't have overlaps there, otherwise your dimensions will overlap each other. Okay, you can copy and paste, like I did right here. Right click, push copy, and then I can put another cabinet over here. Another way to move cabinets from one side of the project to another would be to basically grab a new one out of out of our catalog here. These are all of our cabinets, right? So 1 drawer cabinet or 2 door cabinet, pretty simple. Pull that one. I'm gonna put that guy right there. Another way to do it is, let's say there's obviously not going to be 2 sinks here, but I can go over and I put Control C. Doesn't work like that in the demo. Sorry about that. Okay, so you have to right click, copy, and then over here, boom, you got it. Take a look at 3D just to see how we're doing. Photo Vision. And boom. So pretty much you can see how it's going here. You can get a real good perspective view. Now, in our sink cabinets, something I noticed here, we do have nailers in them. I don't know why that would come up without a nailer there. So it must be something that got lost in the installation. So anyway, for the most part though, it'll work just fine. So it has the faces on there, and you can still use it for design purposes. Just remember, when you put it into the cabinet or into our website, the website is more accurate than Cabinet Vision is going to be. Okay, so that's pretty much it there. Again, let's see, there's really no difference between tall cabinets and regular cabinets. Let's go custom cabinets, let's go wall cabinets, and then also let's do a tall cabinet. Again, like I said here, remember how we put that, there was a, what was it called, soffit? Put 4 inches. Notice how we're at 4 inches away from the ceiling right there? That's where we're going to put our crown molding. Now, if you change that soffit, for example, you go over here to room layout, and let's just change that soffit to, say, 12, like it was before, like the 1980s cabinets, right? Put it to 12, and then we gotta wait. Oh, see, it knocked it down automatically. That's the nice thing about it. So you don't have to worry about these cabinets floating all over the place. Watch, I'm gonna go put it up here. Boom, it doesn't matter. It says, no, I know there's a soffit here. It's 12 inches up off the ceiling, okay? I want that to be 4, and I know that for a reason, because I want my crown molding to be 4 inches tall, and I want it to go to the ceiling. Taking a look at this guy right here, we can also look at other cool stuff like the elevation. So from the top of the finished floor to the bottom of the wall cabinet, we have 64 inches. Typically that needs to be 54 inches because that's the elevation of the bottom of your wall cabinets. That's kind of an industry standard, okay? So let's add in 10 inches, right? That'll take it down to 54. Boom, we're done. We know all of our wall cabinets are now going to be 38 inches tall. Our cabinets are fully custom. They're built to the sizes you order on our website. Nice thing about that is by building a fully custom cabinet, you can order them however you want, and they can go up to the ceiling, have perfect 4 inches right there, be at the right 54-inch elevation, and really, do it like it needs to be done. Okay. All right. Moving on. Tall cabinets. Let's go down here and let's get a tall 2-door pantry because we've got a lot of room here. This is a hypothetical kitchen, of course, but this is going to go up against that wall end. Again, I'm just using my space bar and I'm clicking around. Notice I'm moving around like this. Again, I got that wall end right there. It knows there's a wall. I got 19 inches of space, but remember, anytime that you go up to a wall, you got to use a filler. You say, why do I need a filler? It's because it's the same thing like the ceiling height, the thing. If it gets all wavy and bowing, over a long period of time or a long run like this, then if it was like, say, 1 inch gap right here and nothing over here, that's going to look really weird, right? So a 2-inch wide filler is just fine between the walls and the cabinets. It also makes it so that if the wall's out of plumb a little bit, then it's not going to have that same issue. It won't be too small. Okay, so this is going to be moved over. Again, I'm not going to just drag and drop this. You can. Let's just move in here. Again, I'm using my trackball on my mouse, okay? And I'm going to pull this thing over right here. Boom. That just dragged and dropped it. That's fine. One way to do it. Also, this height right here, our ceiling height's 96. It needs to be 92 inches, which we already have, so we're good. Again, I wanted to say another thing. I like to use this guy over here, these things. And there's different ways to move your cabinets around the screen. This tends to be more accurate, though. So right, I'm going to go 0. Okay? Sometimes this could be like negative 25. Watch. Negative 0.25. That's, overlapping the wall. That's not physically possible. It is in the computer, but not in real life. Okay? So we're going to go 0. Okay, pantry cabinets. So I got this guy. It's just a tall cabinet. Basically, it's a combination of a base and a wall cabinet. Okay? The way we build our pantry cabinets is we do a lower section and an upper section. And the reason for that is you get into some areas where people have like a 96-inch ceiling height, and you build one single pantry at 96 inches tall. Number one, you don't want to do that because the doors would be way too tall if you just had 2 doors on it. 96-inch tall doors would warp and bow like crazy. Okay, so that's not something we offer. There's no way to order it like that from us. It's just not something that you would do in the cabinet industry. Unless you were, just getting started in it, which is probably a reason you wouldn't want to order cabinets from that company. So what we do, 2 of them. You take this one, you order a tall 2-door pantry, and then you order a 2-door wall cabinet, and you stack it on top. Okay? That's 64 inches tall, and that's a proper pantry lower portion. Highly recommend 64 because that includes the toe kick all the way up to the top of the cabinet. That's the height you'd enter it at. And that's our default for our tall pantry cabinets. The nice thing about that is it's a good size for a broom closet because you have about 60 inches of opening height. And it's also a nice thing because you can access the upper cabinet. So, you'll actually have access to the lower part of the upper cabinet here. Okay. So we know we're going up to 92 inches. So what is that? 28? Is that? Yeah, there we go. So just use the math right here. Usually you can tell, usually it'll tell you how much space is in between there. It's not showing me on the dimensions here, but so anyway, make sure that the bottom of this cabinet is right at the top of this. Again, you go over here, clearance, right? The width of this cabinet is 32 inches. That's the base one. And the width of this is going to be 32. Now, the width you can do on these tall cabinets. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Typically, I'd keep them between about 28 and 36 is a pretty good goal. Let's go 36 because it's going to look better. And depths of your tall cabinets can be 24 inches, which is what I see a lot of people ordering them at. But I like to recommend that you order your tall cabinets at 26 inches deep. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. So the wall cabinet's 26. And the lower portion is 26. I'm going to delete that sink cabinet. All right, let's get this guy over here. Last thing we need to look at here before I finish this tutorial. Again, I'm just dragging and dropping this thing right here. Now look at this. We got a filler. We have a filler, and then we have our tall cabinet stack, which is going to be nice because you'll be able to install this lower portion of this pantry cabinet and then the upper portion. After you've installed the filler onto the side, you just push it right back to the wall. And you don't have to worry about the cabinets not being able to, stand up in the house. That could be an issue. If you hit the ceiling with a 96-inch tall cabinet, or 92-inch tall cabinet, how are you going to stand it up? Imagine, the measurement from the front toe kick to the back top, if that makes sense. You won't be able to like literally stand it up to install it. It's not a good deal. But when you have two piece like this, you install the lower piece first, and then you just install the upper one afterwards. That's really easy. In fact, one person can do it. Okay, so what we have here is the actual idea behind the finished in. Why do we need a finished in panel? This is the reason. We're stacking two cabinets on top of each other. We need a tall finished in panel, a single tall finished in panel, to cover the side of that cabinet. And I'll get into the reason why we did 26 inches for the depth here in 1 second. So let's go down here, tall finished in panel, just a regular, good old regular one. And we're going to go 26 and 5/8 in the depth. You're asking me, why do you do 26 and 5/8 instead of 26, right? And the reason for that is because we want the face of this to be roughly flush with the face of the doors. We want it to have an 1/8 of an inch step back, which is what we call in the industry like a nice step back, 1/8 of an inch. Any sort of, if you try to make it too flush, if you try to put the face of that door and the face of that in panel flush together, it works sometimes. But if you have to adjust your hinges on tall doors, it can be a problem, and it draws the eye to the imperfection. So we always do 5/8 proud. That leaves an 1/8 of an inch back from the face of the cabinet, but it also covers the side, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. Okay. Let's take a look at the face view here. Again, oh, okay, so this is nice. The finished in panel is already where it really needs to be. So let's just take it down to 0. I don't know why the elevation, again, it was just up off the floor by 3 inches, which is odd, but anyway, just adjust it. When you get it, you'll see it. Elevation 0. All right. 6 and 5/8. Now looking at this again, you can see that we added the finished in panel. Last thing we want to do here is show you what happens when we put this cabinet right here into the side. Now imagine you have this guy and a countertop on top of it. Again, I'm going to take a window. I'm taking this guy right here, and I'm going to zoom. Whoa, that's weird. Mine does it from the center. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, let's do photo vision. You can run the cabinets, this base cabinet. You don't need a filler between this base cabinet and this tall cabinet. And you might say, well, why did you use a filler over on the wall side? It's like, because this pantry cabinet is perfectly flush/plumb. You can run our cabinets up to each other without any issues. The hinges are designed to pull away from the face of the cabinet and then open. If we get into the difference between the 24-inch deep base cabinet, which is our standard, and the 26-inch tall cabinet, imagine there's a countertop on this. It sticks out 1.5 inches. It's a 1/2 inch back from the face there. The countertop now dies off into the side of this finished in panel. Now, what happens if you did 24 inches here and here? That countertop is going to stick out, and there's going to be like a 1/2 inch nub of countertop sticking out to the side there. It's an easy way to get stuff caught on it. It doesn't look professional. I mean, in my opinion, I know they all do that, and a lot of people, a lot of companies will fight tooth and nail to do a 24-inch deep pantry because they don't want to stock the 26-inch cabinet depths. And the real reason for that is our sheets come in 4 foot by 8 foot, so you can get two 24-inch rips out of one 4 foot wide, sheet of plywood. So all of ours are custom. We do a ton of these, so the idea is that they get mixed into the sheets just fine. We don't have that much fall off. But that's the idea. It looks better. So order your tall cabinets at 26 inches deep. Order your tall in panels 26 and 5/8, and then have the countertop run into the side of it. I think it looks like way better. I see that in displays sometimes. And it's like, ugh. All right. So anyway, that's how the base cabinets operate there. Again, same thing with the wall cabinets. You want the wall cabinets to go over here. Again, clearance. We're just going to go 0. Eesh. There we go. Now it's a little deep. This wall cabinet needs to be 12 inches deep. That's our standard. If some of those defaults are a little weird when they come out of here, because this is a freshly installed version, I will try to fix that. That is, yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to control the defaults when we install these into the program, the trial version itself. So I do apologize if there's some of those. Just have to make the adjustment. Wall cabinets are 12 inches. Base cabinets are going to be 24, tall cabinets are 26. So that's the depths. Again, heights can be whatever, widths or whatever you want. We're literally, it doesn't matter. And they go right into it. There's no filler between this wall cabinet and the tall cabinet there. So there you go. Pretty cool. Pretty nice look there. We got the right elevation for the wall cabinets. So, sorry, kind of getting off target here. So back to what we're doing on Cabinet Vision. So that's pretty much it. There's really nothing else to do here as far as moving around. We've talked about how to do the island. If you wanted to do a bar back on there, you can go Objects, go to Base Cabinets, and go to Bar Backs. Find it. Yeah, so there you go. So basically what you do is you put the bar back on there, and yeah, oh wait, maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. A better way to do it here. It doesn't allow you to do, on my version, it allows me to actually go in there and snap it to the back side of the wall. Oh, you know what it is? Sorry about that, people. You can't go to the back side of the wall in this. Huh, weird. So I guess in the demo version, the trial version that Cabinet Vision has, they don't allow you to put cabinets on the back sides of walls, which is odd. And the one that we have, the full version, it does. So, wow, that's new to me. Okay, well, that explains why I'm not able to put it on the back. So a little workaround here that I'm coming up with right now, literally on the spot, just draw another wall. Like this, same width, okay? Go Objects, Bar Back. Put that bar back on there. There we go. Now, two walls next to each other is not going to... See, put it up on the ceiling again. Weird. Okay, let's put it back down on the ground by using that. I'm going to scroll it over. This is a 3-piece bar back, basically 3 end panels right next to each other. You can order as a single product, which is nice. So you can get more precise in your dimensions. So then you go through here, and you could take it, and you could just put it right on the back there. And I'll bet that has something to do with... Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out why it's sticking out by 12 inches. Okay, so you see what we did here? We had a bar back the wall right there, and oh, sorry about that, people. Okay, so there we go. Now it's on the back of the island. So there you have your bar back. It's going to show there. Let's do Photo Vision while I'm wrapping up here. And you can kind of see how we can do anything. Now, other things you could do in Cabinet Vision, which I did not cover here today, is going to be putting in things like windows and appliances and, pretty much everything else you could imagine. When you get into those, you can really spend hours trying to spruce this thing up. I would highly recommend just sticking to the cabinets and the walls. If you get into those, like the advanced, Photo Vision type of stuff, like I can get into a tutorial later where we could do, lighting, ceilings, floors, textures on the ceiling, textures on the floor, textures on the walls, putting a different color on the islands, stuff like that. I mean, you can get pretty elaborate with this. And I'd highly recommend if you wanted to do that, or if you're, a designer that's in the trade, to get the software, because the software allows you to not only use our catalog, it allows you to use everybody else's catalog too. And they have lots of really cool textures and really cool ways of just making this thing work really well. So you can use it for your business. You can start a business, do whatever you need to with it. So that's pretty much it, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Oh man, it's 38 minutes long. Sorry about that. We are, we're out of time. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but yeah, I thought it was fun. Have a great day.